Okay, some of you might be wondering how I did the actual hole in the wall in order to create the door. So it's very simple. It's just called Boolean. So I'll show you really quickly. I'm going to reset my setup. I'll say yes. And then here I'll show you like really quickly is that you create a box. It was your wall. So I'll create it from the front view actually. And I'll put it like that and just a thickness. Now the main thing that you have to do in order to create the actual door is just that since you got your Mr. Jiggle already created, you want to look at his size when you create this. You need to create another box, but it needs to be thicker than the actual wall that you have. Okay, so therefore when you create, click and drag the actual width of the size of your Mr. Jiggle, and after that look at the height. So right now I'm not looking at the top view, I'm looking at the front view, so I can see how high it's going to be. So then I'm going to click onto that. Now I get those two objects. So here what you do is that I'll click on the actual front wall. It doesn't matter where you're going to go. You go to the standard primitive over here at the top right, click onto that, and you have what we call compound objects. Click into this, and over here you have Boolean. Very useful to use that tool in order to create holes if you want to, okay, or merge two things together. In this case, what we want to do is that you see at the bottom it says subtraction A from B. I don't know who's A and who's B, and I don't care actually. I just want to go in and just say, okay, I'll pick up one in B. I want to delete this guy. Oh, it's actually that really worked. So I'm just going to redo it just to show like most people will get. So I'll say like this, and I'll pick onto that. This is what you get. Don't forget, you can actually go and say Control Z, and I'll go back to my subtraction of A to B, and then pick the operator in B, and then voila. After you've done that, what you do is that you use the top view and also the front view in order to create your actual, so I did right click to get out of Boolean, create the actual door. Now be aware how to build this thing. Click again on the standard primitives, and you get over here it says doors. Click into this. You can have a pivot door, a sliding door, or bifold. So in here, for us, for our sake, we'll use a pivot door. So here's a sequence of buttons that you have to do. First, you click and drag the width of your door. Okay. After you've done that, you let go. You create the thickness of your door. Then you click back on the left hand side, and you drag, whoops, and then you drag up the actual height. It doesn't matter if you cannot go as high as you want. So you look into the front view, because you can click onto that. After you're done, to get out, you always have these settings that you can actually always play. Now, when you've done that, go back to the modifier panel. You're not in gray. What you want to test is the actual opening right over here. So if you click and drag, you say, oh no, this is not the way that I want to actually open it, because that will hit Mr. Jiggle. Meaning that I want to be in this angle when we're going to start, or this angle, to see him. So what you can do is that you can actually flip the hinges, and then after that try it. So it's just, it could be good for you this way, it's up to you, but I don't like it that way. I don't see Mr. Jiggle right away, so I'll click onto that, and it will create the actual flip that you want. And this thing can actually be animated. So now to work with it, this is I'll press into the auto key. I'll bring that to like maybe, I don't know, like 5 frames, and I will go here, and I'm just going to say one up, one down, because I want him to open the door really drastically. So I'll go to maybe like not even 30 frames, less than 1 second, and just go and just open it really wide. And then you would have your Mr. Jiggle actually coming in and through. And afterwards, when you want to close it, do the same thing. Mr. Jiggle goes by, if you can see that. I'll show that into my other animation. And then you do the same thing. Go to G key, one up, one down. And then after that, slam the door to 55, right click on the spinners, and voila. So therefore, open, reveal Mr. Jiggle, slam the door back shut, and then keeps on doing his animation. So really quickly, I'll show you like mine that I just did. And now that I had it, I don't want to save that. So in this case, if you can see, when I started, also, it's just that it opens the curtain. I made some the keys in order to have the curtain opens, the door opens, and then Mr. Jiggle starts. So here, as you can see, oh, my entire animation was moved. Okay, so last part of here, time configuration, I made my end time to 150 frames. So therefore, it was 120 before. I added another second, 450, and I just selected all the keys of Mr. Jiggle, and I just drag them to like this over here. You see that? So the last key on the right hand side, I moved them all the way to 150 so that I could get the time to actually animate the actual curtains. So you can see that open and close. Okay, so hopefully that helps.